You are meant to be a great dad. You are built to be a strong leader. And you have the opportunity to leave a legacy in your family through your own impact and influence. And in today's episode, I'm going to give you my F360 framework, the framework that I use to help everyday dads optimize their health, lead their families, and leave a legacy. This is the framework we implement in the Dads Making a Difference Mastermind, and I'm going to give it to you today so that you can take the next step in becoming a dad making a difference. This episode of the Dads Making a Difference podcast starts right now. Hello, my friend. Welcome to this episode of the DMD podcast. My name is Cam. I am your host, and I want to thank you for being here. This is episode 80. Episode 80, which is incredible. I cannot believe we have made it this far already. And over the last 79 episodes, we've been able to bring you incredible conversations with our guests. And I hope that even my solo episodes have been pretty impactful for you. But when I started this podcast a year and a half ago, it was my goal that with every episode, you would walk away with one thing that you could implement right away that was going to make an impact in your life. Whether that was going to make an impact by making your marriage healthier, by giving you a stronger relationship with your kids, by challenging you intellectually to grow as a leader and as a father, or maybe to help build your business and help your business become more successful. And I feel that we have done that. I feel that over the last 79 episodes, we have delivered on that. And I hope you agree too. Episode 80 is incredible. You know, I guess statistically, we're in the top 10% of all podcasts because only 10% of podcasts make it this far. And it's because of you. And I want to thank you. And I want to thank my incredible team, if you're listening to this, who's going to edit this. But we have been pushing. And I wanted to take an opportunity today to challenge you with something that I've been challenged with. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Nashville for a mastermind event, an incredible opportunity of a group of men who speak into my life, who challenge me, hold me accountable, the same way that we do in Dads Making a Difference. And I was challenged in that to say, where are you struggling? Are you struggling professionally? Are you struggling in your marriage? Are you struggling in your spirituality, in your finances, in your health? Where are you struggling right now? Because it's so easy for us as men to say everything's okay and to put on this front, this Instagram front, this Facebook front, the things that you see online, that everything's working out and everything's great. When in all reality, things aren't always great. And I was challenged at the beginning of October with what wasn't going great. And so I spoke up and I said, professionally, things aren't great right now. I'm struggling with that. That's an area I need to dive into. And then I thought about my professional life and how that has impacted and shaped and influenced my personal life and my thought patterns and my commitment to helping you as a father, as a husband grow. Because we have no choice but to have our past experiences, our stories, our work, our relationships. We have no choice but to let those things impact and shape us, whether you like it or not. And if you've learned anything over the conversations that we've had on this podcast with incredible guests, is everyone's story, everyone's past, everyone's interactions, everyone's purpose or business or mission or calling influences the way that they think, that they act, and the way they interact with others. And I was challenged to really take a step back and look at how my professional life has impacted my own personality, my thought patterns, my thought process, and why that has inspired me to be here with you in this moment. And so I want to dive in because some of you know that I have a background in education. I feel that I am called to educate and connect with others. I love working with youth. Youth are incredible resources when it comes to cutting edge thought and technology. I'm not going to lie to you. Working in a high school for as long as I have teenagers are incredible. They're so bright, they're so witty, and yet they struggle so immensely. And one of the things that I see in the students who struggle most, and that I've seen in my career over the students who've struggled most, is many of them don't have a positive father figure, a positive male role model in their life. And at the root of dads making a difference, I think, is that I have seen so many kids, so many youth struggle socially, struggle with anxiety, struggle with substance abuse, pornography addictions, sexual addictions, mental health issues. In each one of these youth, many of them, many of them, don't have a positive male role model or a father figure in their life. And at the root of dads making a difference is that. Also, at the root of dads making a difference is my experience with my own family, with my dad, who I know loved me, but we had a very different relationship than I think I have with my son. And my dad worked so hard for our family. And I can easily get trapped in the working hard, which actually takes me away from my kids, Maya and Braylon. And I see how my dad was able to balance and work hard, and he was driven, and he instilled that in us. But I also see that growing up, my mom was also had this like really edgy piece to her, yet very caring piece to her. And so I think I have the best of both parents. I'm driven to work. I'm driven to do better. I'm driven to achieve more. I'm driven to care for others and be empathetic towards others. But I also have this edge, and the edge will sometimes make me close doors. And so very easily I can get sucked into work, which is a good quality to be able to work, but I'll get sucked into work. And that work will distract me from the bigger picture. So I want to come back to my professional life for a moment. You know, as a high school leader, high school administrator, and doing my master's degree in leadership, I learned so much about how people learn, how adults learn, how children learn, how youth learn, and how learning is fundamental in our growth process. You've heard me say it on this podcast before. I've taken this motto from the school that I worked in, started working there in 2015. And on the stairs in that school said, aim for growth, said, know your why, aim for growth, and take ownership, which I think is beautiful. Knowing our why is the foundation of everything we do. We aim for growth, the 1% mindsets that I teach in my programs, and we take ownership. And ownership is the hardest piece of this. How do you take what you know, implement into your own practice, and then take ownership over it? And so with the beginning of Dads Making a Difference, I was inspired by what I saw around me. I was inspired by my own experiences and past. And I was also inspired by the men that I've connected with. In 2015, I also started Fight the Dad Bod. And Fight the Dad Bod fits into one of the pillars of Dads Making a Difference. But through Fight the Dad Bod, I had these incredible conversations with men, and I learned that so much more was going on for them than just their physical health. They came in for their physical health, but we had deep conversations about their family, about their relationships, about their business, about their mental health, about their energy. The list goes on. And so Dads Making a Difference was born out of my own low point of being on a medical leave. Told this story, won't go back to that. But Dads Making a Difference was born out of my own past, my experiences, my interactions. And through that, I created a framework that is similar to something that I learned in my leadership journey. Here where I live in the province of Alberta, Canada, for you American listeners, as an educational leader, there are standards in which we are measured. We call them leadership quality standards, or LQS. And so we are evaluated on this quite regularly. We are challenged on this in our conversations, in our professional learning. And I thought about those leadership quality standards and how they paralleled to what I was seeing in the development of fathers and father leaders. And I created a framework influenced by those leadership quality standards, a framework for Dads Making a Difference, which I called the F360 framework. And you're like, why is it the F360? Fatherhood 360 framework. And honestly, why is it called that? Because in the first framework, the model of it, it's a circle. And all-encompassing circle around. To be at the center, the locus of control of your own development, you need to have all 6 of these pillars, and they were in a circle. So Fatherhood 360 was a name that kind of came to me. Now, we might change the name of the framework. It doesn't matter. It's the 6 pillars that I want to share with you. And I'm going to take an opportunity over my next 6 solo episodes, this one included, to talk about each one of these pillars more deeply, to challenge you in these areas to really become a leader. Because when I say dad's making a difference, I mean being a dad who is making a difference. Be a leader, step up, challenge yourself, challenge the status quo, stop settling, because we too often will settle into something that we think is comfortable for the fear of branching out and taking a risk, because we know deep inside that that risk may be beneficial for us, our family, and our future development. I'm there. I am on the precipice right now of making a decision whether I jump full into dad's making a difference and I walk away from my job, or I stay in a profession that I enjoy, connecting with youth and kids, and still build dad's making a difference in a different capacity. Guys, I know the fear is real. I'm experiencing it right now. And too often we roll back to an excuse of finances. And I'll talk about that in another episode. But the excuse of how finances are holding us back from being who we truly are called to be the leader that we are called to be, and that you are meant to be. And you're letting someone else out there dictate your future. You let these numbers, when you open up your online banking, you let these numbers and digits, just these symbols, dictate your self-worth. And I fall into that trap. Oh, that's not enough. It's not enough yet. It's not enough to make the jump. It's not enough to take the risk. It's not enough to go all in. So I'm challenging myself as well as challenging you right now. I am being honest and vulnerable with you right now because I'm real. I'm not on here telling you that I have it all figured out. I'm a committed lifelong learner, which means learning isn't that I am know-it-all as a leader. It means that I am learning by leading and leading by learning. I don't think that I have it all figured out, and I want to be vulnerable and honest with you because I'm going to challenge you as I challenge myself. And so here are the 6 pillars of the F360 framework that I use as a barometer in my conversations with men. These are the measuring stick. These are things to aspire to, things that we work on. And now, as I go through these 6, I want you not to think of these 6 as a linear journey, step by step by step by step, except that these 6 things could take place in various levels of priority. These 6 pillars work together to make you the father and the leader and the husband and the business owner and the employee and the entrepreneur, and the list goes on and on, that you want and deserve to be. Okay. 6 pillars. You can find these if you go to dmdmastermind.com/leadership coaching, or just go to dmdmastermind.com and click on the coaching tab. You'll find the framework right on that page. Hey guys, I wanted to take a moment and talk about our community of DMD brothers in the DMD Mastermind. We are men who help each other to stay focused and intentional in our pursuits of personal, professional, physical, financial, emotional, and spiritual growth. We are a community of men who bring courage, wisdom, and transparency to unfiltered conversations that challenge us to be more impactful men, to be dads making a difference. We do this through our online and in-person events where men come together to speak into each other's lives and then turn around and do the deep work to create change in their families, in their businesses, and in the community around them. If you are wondering if this community might be right for you, you can find more information on the DMD Mastermind, and you can also book a call directly with me at dmdmastermind.com. Now, let's get back to our show. And the F360 framework starts this way. Pillar 1, commitment to physical and mental health. A commitment to physical and mental health. This comes from my own past experience. The story that you guys know about Fight the Dad Bod, if you don't, go back to listen to the episodes where I've talked about Fight the Dad Bod, but the whole premise of commitment to physical and mental health is this, is that a dad creates and implements a shared vision for improving his health and well-being and the health and well-being of his family. You need to be selfish in this. You need to take care of you. because without your health, you have nothing. And within this pillar, this is where Fight the Dad Bod fits in. So I have a whole group of men right now coaching inside Fight the Dad Bod, part of our Fit for Fatherhood Academy cohorts, who are grinding through, working through, doing amazing things. And I know that this will be a jump off point for them, a jump off point for them to dive into other areas of their life, because now they're going to feel better. They're going to look better. They're going to have more energy, sleep better, manage stress differently. And they are being an example of optimal health for their kids, because the activities that we do now and the habits we create now with our kids will end up being their lifestyle later. And so these men are building healthy habits, and they have a commitment to physical and mental health. And so that's one pillar in the F360 framework. The next is the fostering strong and healthy relationships. Fostering strong and healthy relationships. This is the description. A dad builds positive professional and personal relationships with others. And a dad seeks the guidance of trusted advisors. How many trusted advisors do you have in your life? Right now, take a moment. How many men are speaking into your life in a way that challenges you to be better, that challenges you to take the next step, that challenges you to be who you are meant to be? But they don't only challenge you, they celebrate you, they hold you up, they affirm you, and they're with you every step of the way. And how many men can you speak into their life and challenge them and hold them up? You need to have strong and healthy relationships. And you need to have strong and healthy relationships with other men. Guys are dying in isolation right now. A healthy and strong relationship isn't just a phone call once in a while where you talk about the game, and maybe at your stage in life, you're talking about girls and you're talking about this. No, that's not what this is. This is real, unfiltered conversations. That's another pillar in dads making a difference. That's why it's so impactful. Third pillar in the F360 framework is a commitment to growth. I've talked about this already, but a dad engages in critical self-reflection to identify opportunities for professional and personal growth and development. Critical reflection, not just thinking back on how great everything is, but critical reflection, learning from your mistakes, learning from your successes, learning from the roadblocks and the barriers that you've encountered and how you've climbed that wall, made it over top, and moved on. You need to have a commitment to growth. Pillar 4, responding appropriately. Man, I can't tell you, this is my biggest area of growth right now. I'm going to tell you, this is where I am struggling, is responding appropriately. A dad understands his family and appropriately responds to cultural context impacting personal, familial, and professional practices. Responding to cultural contexts that impact your personal life, your family life, and your professional life. I struggle with this right now, balancing through this. As a Christian, I am punched in the face every day with things in my environment in which I do not agree. Every single day. And I need to ask myself, okay, why don't I agree? What am I missing? And by me just saying I don't agree, I think I am closing off a doorway to understanding and observation. And I need to be open to connection and communication and understanding and working with, not against, those around me. This is an area I'm always thinking about. I see my kids interact with things online. I get upset. I shut down the computer. And then I'm like, how do I teach them not to get there? How do I teach them not to go there? How do I teach them that this isn't who we are and what we do as a family? And these aren't the messages from these YouTubers that are telling you to do this and that. And man, I feel like I need to protect my kids right now, but I don't want to shelter them, because they are going to interact with this world in a very real way, very, really soon. And so I'm struggling right now with responding appropriately. Pillar number 5, organization and balance. How many of us struggle with organization and balance? I got a big smile on my face because this is real. This is real, guys. A dad effectively directs and balances the demands of his work with the needs of his family and manages his financial resources effectively. Ouch. Did that hit you? Demands of work with the needs of your family. What are you prioritizing? What is your why? What is taking your attention? And are you managing your financial resources effectively? So many of us will say, oh, from a Christian perspective, a lot of my Christian friends, God, I'm just waiting for God to provide right now. I'm just waiting for God to provide right now. And yet I know these people. I know these people have racked up a whole bunch of debt, and they're quick to spend and slow to save and never give. And they've had this relationship with money that is just like this attachment to, I want it, I want it, I want it. I need more, I need more, I need more. I think one of the hardest things I did, which was one of the most meaningful things I did, was to get tithing and giving money away more regularly. For a long time, I never went to church. You guys know this. If you listen to my story, I stepped away from the church for 18 years almost. But I always knew that it was important to give money, whether it was at our local food bank, or we have a youth shelter in town here I like to give to. We have other nonprofit organizations. Maybe it's just in your community. Maybe you can pay for the user fee for a kid on my son's baseball team. There's a kid from a low-income family. I can help out. I can do that. Nobody needs to know. I don't announce it. I do it anonymously. But I need to have a relationship with money where it doesn't own me. It doesn't control me. It's not mine. It's just numbers. It's just a currency. It's a tool that we use to purchase things that we exchange with each other. And I think managing financial resources effectively is an area where all men can grow. No matter how successful or unsuccessful you might think you are, we can grow in this. One of the most eye-opening things I had to do in our mastermind group is that we do this thing called the one sheet, where we lay out all of our financial information on a sheet of paper, where all our money is, where it's not, our investments, our debts, our payments, all of it. And we share it with our small group. And you're like, whoa, yikes, that's nerve-wracking. Yeah, it was. But you know what? If we go back to healthy and strong relationships, and we talk about responding appropriately and a commitment to growth and mental health, if you think about that, how am I to speak into your life and give you advice or challenge you if I don't know the full picture? If I don't know your context, if I don't know actually where you are? I can't do that. I can't. And so we challenge each other to be so transparent, so honest with each other that nothing is private. Like I said, man, unfiltered conversations. This is to challenge you. You are going to get better doing this. You're going to get stronger. You're going to get wealthier because guys will hold you accountable. And so managing your financial resources more effectively, we use this one sheet and we set out goals. I'm going to tell you, I'll be honest with you, about 2.5, 3 years ago, Kim and I were in a lot of debt, $68,000 of consumer debt through a line of credit or credit cards. I sat down with our mastermind group the first time we did the one sheet. And I showed them where all our money was, where we had investments, where we didn't, our savings, everything. And one of the guys in the group's like, Cam, what are you doing? Why do you have this debt? And so I said, wow, we're just trying to take care of it. We're trying to get rid of it. He's like, well, have you thought about this? Strategizing and doing this and moving that and doing this. And I said, I've never thought of that before, because you don't know what you don't know. Well, I'm going to tell you what, $68,000 in debt. We paid that off in, what are we, October 29th. We paid that off July of this year. So we paid 60 while still living our life as a family, going on vacation. We have our vehicle payments still. Okay. So we're not completely debt free. We got a mortgage and vehicle payments, and that's it. But we paid off $68,000 in debt because I had advice from a group of men who cared enough about me to take the time and sit down. And I was open enough to let them in. So we were able to pay off $68,000 in consumer debt in under 24 months. And it was incredible. It felt like such a win for us. We want our men in our community to have those wins. So we need organization and balance. Pillar number 6, building capacity in others. A dad builds leadership capacity within his kids, his wife and partner, and with those around him. Leaders lead by creating more leaders. If I've learned anything as a high school vice principal, it's this. Building capacity in others is the key, the essential key to strong leadership. You do not know it all. You cannot do it all yourself. As a dad, as a father, we feel like we need to be in control. We need to provide. We need to do all of these things for our family. But a dad builds leadership capacity within his kids, in his wife, partner, and with those around him. We're challenging you to build your leadership skills so that you can build leadership skills in others. That, my friend, is how you build a legacy, by building leadership skills in others. So a commitment to physical and mental health, fostering strong and effective relationships, commitment to growth, responding appropriately, organization and balance, and building capacity in others. This is the F360 framework in which we implement, build, coach within Dads Making a Difference. If you want more information on how you can dive into this, or you want more information on how I can help you do this, go to dmdmastermind.com, click on the coaching tab and read down below, set up a call with me. You can also go to callwithcam.com. Seriously, it's that easy. Callwithcam.com. Just book a time. I'll be honest right now, I can't remember what calendar link is linked to that. Doesn't matter. In the box where it will give you an opportunity. You pick a day that works for you, a time that works for you. You just put in that little box, the description of why we're connecting. You put in what you want to talk about. You want to go over the F360 framework and learn a little bit more, and we'll do that. Hey, I care about you. I've never met you, and I care about you because I know that as men, we work in isolation. And for us to change our world, we need to do this together. I think Cody Jefferson said it on his podcast. You change a man, you change his family. You change his family, you change his community. You change his community, you change his city. You change his city, you change his province, state. Change that, change the country. We're going to make changes. And it starts with you and I taking a step and doing this together. Episode 80. Man, I am so happy that you're here. Thank you so much. We're going to dive in over the next couple solo episodes. I'm going to spend some time breaking down each one of these pillars a little bit more for you so that you can become a dad making a difference. We will see you next week on next episode 81 of the DMD podcast.